It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 4th day of April 2023, coming to you from the Central Virginia area, right near Lynchburg in Bedford County. And folks, I have to admit, first, right off the bat, yesterday I made a mistake. I don't mind admitting to my mistakes, but I was totally sucked in by the Emirates April Fool's story. In my defense, and it's not really defense when you put a story on the air that's not true, at least I wasn't the only one that had it, as a couple of my actual major news source locations also had the story yesterday. However, those of you that watch me regularly know that I am in recovery mode from the virus. And I took the weekend off. I took Saturday and Sunday. I basically stayed away from the computer. I stayed a lot in my chair or in bed, working on getting my strength back and getting better for my next cruise, which is the 1st of May. I absolutely paid no attention to what was going on in the cruise world. So yesterday morning, when I started checking out and researching news for the show, I never thought about April Fools. I saw that story. I liked what it was saying. I thought, wow, Emirates could really make a move and do that. Yeah, I missed a couple things that should have slapped me upside the face, like June 31st. I mean, I noticed the Atlantis. I mean, that clearly was not in Dubai. That was in Nassau. But then the story was about them, having a double speed cruise ship. And I'm thinking, wow, that would be really cool. A 7-day transatlantic to fly back on one of their planes. I could see all kinds of possibilities and somebody like Emirates Air doing such a thing. So I got totally sucked in. What was the story? Even in the chat room yesterday, several of you guys were telling me, "Oh no, that's fake. That was false news." Yeah. Well, I didn't buy that because I had checked it out. I mean, I went to a couple sources, and there it was. So even as careful as I am with those kind of things, that old story of, bad things can happen. That's all. My apologies. You guys were right. I'm eating humble pie, humble crow, whatever you want to call it, whatever politically correct form of admitting to a screw up. Anyway, we do have some stories today. Hopefully, the veracity of my stories today will be a little bit better. A passenger fell to the lower deck on a ship. Holland America opens the Ellis Island exhibit. Symphony of the Seas goes to Drydock. Jazz clubs magically changed into casinos. Hong Kong strong, and the Rotterdam set sail on a biggie cruise. That and lots more live here this morning at 11. Okay. If you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome here. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and voila, up pops the Fat Travel Guy. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the video feed by going to the description of the podcast, and there'll be a link to do just that in case you want to check out pictures or clips that I may be using on that day's show. So we'll get started on the news today, and after I've eaten humble pie, after a word from Scooter Rail.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scooter Rail. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scooter Round for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
And of course, you guys know what I think about Scooter Round. I've been dealing with them a long, long time. If you've got an upcoming cruise or an upcoming trip anywhere, even to a hotel, and you have mobility challenges, no matter how little or severe they are, call Scooter Round. They certainly have allowed me to do things that I never dreamt possible, and will continue to do so well into the future. All right. We will get on with today's news after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. The lead story this morning, folks, is a sad story. It comes from our friends over at Virgin. According to CBS News, approximately 9:35 Sunday evening, a woman on a Virgin Voyages cruise ship from Port Miami died after falling from a balcony, reportedly landing on another guest. The woman tumbled from her stateroom on deck 14 shortly after the liner set sail for Rotterdam. Of course, that's in Honduras. When the woman plunged to the lower deck of Valiant Lady, she fell on top of another cruise passenger. Luckily, that passenger apparently was okay. In a statement from Virgin Voyages, this passenger went over their balcony to a lower deck, and despite receiving immediate medical attention, has passed away from her injuries. Further details on the incident, including the guest's name and age, as well as what may have led to her fall, have not been released in order to safeguard the woman's privacy, as well, of course, as that of her family and friends. The circumstances of the fall are also under investigation as a customary procedure to such incidents. Guests on board the ship have reported that emergency personnel quickly erected tents and caution tape around the deck area where it happened to further safeguard the privacy at a very difficult and challenging time. Immediately after the incident, Valiant Lady, which had departed from Miami just 4 hours earlier, reversed course and headed back to port. This allowed the deceased passengers to be carefully debarked and the scene to be visited by authorities. The ship remained in Miami several hours, but once again departed and is now on the Western Caribbean cruise. The original itinerary had the ship to sail a 6-night cruise with visits to Rotan, Costa Maya, and Bimini, as well as 2 days at sea before returning to Miami on April the 8th. Now the ship will visited Cozumel. The visit to Rotan and Costa Maya have been dropped, and it is likely that the last call, Bimini and the Bahamas, will be able to proceed as scheduled, as the lost time with the diversion back to Miami should have been made up by the days at sea. So, sad story from our friends at Valiant Lady. Imagine being greeted to your new home by the Statue of Liberty. That was the sight for many immigrants on Holland America's ships at the turn of the century. Now you can put yourself in the shoes at the new exhibit open at Ellis Island. Holland American Line partnered with the Statue of Liberty Ellis Island Foundation to celebrate the cruise line's 150-year journey from immigrant carrier to consumer ocean liner fleet. The exhibit details the brand's historical prominence in bringing in immigrants from Europe to the United States. The Holland American Line exhibit brings these stories to life, displaying passenger manifests, historical photos, past ship information, classic Holland American Line posters, and Dutch-themed memorabilia. The exhibit is open through early May. Symphony of the Seas has begun a 2-week dry dock to refresh and refurbish the ship prior to her summer Mediterranean schedule. The ship arrived in Cadiz last week and will remain at the shipyard for more than 2 weeks. She's docked alongside Carnival Venezia, which is also undergoing extensive refitting work before relaunching under the Carnival Fun Italian-style brand later in May. The next story this morning also deals with Royal Caribbean. They have begun quietly to convert jazz clubs on their Oasis-class ships into non-smoking casino rooms. Jazz on 4, previously dedicated to jazz music and live performances, is now a casino room with 40 slot machines, a blackjack table, and 3-card poker table on the Oasis of the Seas and Harmony of the Seas. This change was not formally announced, but the jazz clubs have remained closed during recent voyages, alerting passengers of the potential change. The conversion to non-smoking environments is a significant departure for Royal Caribbean's historical practice of allowing smoking in the casino. Hong Kong, the cruise business is back in full swing with over 160 ship calls from 16 cruise lines scheduled for the year. That was according to Kenneth Wong, Hong Kong Tourism Board, and MICE Cruise General Manager. The impressive post-COVID recovery is thanks to the trust and relationship built with the cruise companies and the mask mandate being lifted. Silver Spirit, from Silver Sea, of course, started the season in Asia with its debut return to Hong Kong in mid-January. Silver Sea, TUI, Hapag-Lloyd are just some of the premium brands deploying ship to the Chinese city, and Resorts World Cruises is home porting year-round. Hong Kong's potential for accommodating a variety of cruise products, as well as the availability of flights connecting destination and hubs around the world, is further highlighted by growing potential in the market. The Hong Kong International Airport is also implementing an expansion plan for 3 runway systems to handle 30 million more passengers by year 2030. The city's reopening is being showcased by the Hong Kong Tourism Board's large-scale Hello Hong Kong global promotion campaign, highlighting exciting new developments, events, and activities. So, have you ever sailed in Asia? I haven't. That again is on the bucket list. We'll see. And finally, this morning, the Rotterdam has set sail, celebrating the 150th anniversary with a unique transatlantic crossing, setting sail from New York. The commemorative sailing takes place on board Rotterdam 7 and includes a series of special events and activities, according to the company. Cruising to the Netherlands and England, the itinerary of the 13-day cruise includes visits to Portsmouth and Dover, in addition to 8 full days at sea. According to Holland America, the route was designed to recreate the inaugural voyage of the original Rotterdam. It was not designed to recreate the inaugural voyage, but to sail on a reverse order. The celebratory cruise also features a special celebration in Rotterdam, where passengers are set to disembark later this month. Congratulations to Holland America on this massive celebration that they're going to be carrying out over the next few months. All right. That wraps up the news portion of today. So let's go over to the chat room and see who is with us this morning. Hot Air Tom says he's sorry about my screw up yesterday. He was suspicious about it because he realized that was a Royal Caribbean ship. Yeah. I know. I should have caught all those things and didn't. I was totally blinded. I admit it. I got sucked in. Nah. Crap happens. Different day. There's Katie. Katie was trying so hard to correct me yesterday, as was Mike. And I was totally ignoring what you guys were saying. My apologies. Amy's with us. Hi, Amy. There's a new restaurant in Port Canaveral at the corner of Astronaut Boulevard and the road that goes past the timeshare. Okay. Was a chicken place, but Cindy says it sounds good. Want to try it. Cindy says, morning, everybody. Hi, Sin. I was talking about you last night to somebody. Can't think who it was now. You came into conversation last night, Cindy. It was a fun story. No issue with us. Oh, yeah, I know. It was a good story. And I'm telling you, somebody is going to do something similar to that. Maybe not to sail from Dubai to Pakistan. And the sleek new ships that I've been seeing drawings of, they are supposed to be faster. And okay, not twice as fast. But I mean, they're talking about getting up, to the 30 knot mark, maybe by, 2025 or 2026. Katie says, sure. When are you going to be there? Check in April 23rd. Check out May the 4th. We had a good day with Delta yesterday. I tried to use a credit from the October cancellation upgrade fee for Florida to Richmond Delta flight. The London flight could not be upgraded. Agent said the ticket was a bulk purchase by NCL and the computer didn't have a value assigned to the ticket. Needed to calculate the upgrade charge. Oh, well, at least I know the credit was still sitting in its dark hole. Katie says hi to Amy and Cindy. Nikki's with us. Hi, Nikki, down in Jacksonville. I hope you're feeling well, my dear. It had a September 2nd expiration on the credit, so I figured I better adjust something. We have a Boston back-to-back in Austin, and Delta has a direct flight, Richmond to Boston. Decided to use the credit for new tickets to get first-class seat. Agent booked the flights, but then said my credit couldn't be used for Cindy. We were both on the canceled upgrade. So you took the first class seat and you're sending Cindy back to coach. Is that how you handled that hot air, Tom? I know better than that. She had to work some magic to get the credits to apply. And in doing that, our expiration date got extended to April 2024. We still have about $400 each. Hot air, you're unbelievable. Unbelievable how you work the system. I need lessons. Too bad Delta does not have a direct flight to Tampa for any of the airports around, including Washington. I guess a visit to Atlanta on the way is in store. The funny thing is that I have Allianz travel insurance to thank for even knowing about those credits. Delta told me they were non-refundable. I growled and filled my reimbursement along with the cruise fare. Allianz rejected the Delta claim, saying they had refunded the upgrade charge. Since the tickets were purchased by NCL, the credits were not attached to okay, that was cool. Kenneth's here. I'm in Pennsylvania. Hot Air's saying hi to everybody. Cindy says, Katie, maybe we can meet up when we're in Port Canaveral in June or in October. It's a Cruise Life is with us. Hi, guys. Glad to have you back on board. It's always good to see my friends from other cruises join us on the program. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, I'm trying the little different camera setup. I'm trying to get used to where my eyesight has to go as opposed to where it used to go. So, but I liked the picture yesterday. I liked the sound yesterday, even though the story was screwed up. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow with a special guest. Christy Durso is going to join us tomorrow. We're going to talk about accessible Portugal, Europe, and other things in the accessible world. By the way, if you aren't doing anything this morning, you might want to hop over to my blog. I just posted a little story today on a little brush with danger in Huatulco, Mexico, which you might get a kick out of. So that's on accessadventure.net, posted this morning. All right, guys, that's it for today. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow, same time, same channel. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. And one day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.